Hi, I'm Ambre Anderson with The Next Come Up, and we're interviewing the cast from Queen Sugar, premiering June 12th on the OWN network. We have Dawn. Hi, Dawn.
Hi, Amber.
Well, congratulations. How do you feel to make it to the 4th season?
Elated. Totally elated. You know, when we started the show, we really didn't know if it would have a response that it's had for sure. We didn't know what was going to happen. So the fact that it's been so embraced and celebrated and loved, it's that already feels good.
Yeah.
And then to get into season 4, I feel like we're winning.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How do you stay inspired after the 3rd season?
Well, gratefully, it's not that hard when you work for Ava DuVernay and Oprah Winfrey to be inspired. So we have show creators and a show executive producer that is sort of, they are the epitome of inspiration. So a lot comes from them. And then we also have incredible writers. You know, we get scripts that ask us to give all of ourselves and ask us to think deeply about the world and the show. So really it comes from the work itself, I think. That's where the inspiration comes from.
Great. And can you give us anything? Can you expose anything that's going to happen? Anything in a roundabout way?
Well, have you seen the trailer?
I have.
So there's a lot going on in that first,
Yes.
the first moments of the season really set the tone. And it's a bit of an explosive season, like really. I think it's testing the boundaries of family and family relationships and bonds and just where we can push each other and if we can come back from it. So I can say that. It's if there's anything, any word that I would assign to the season, it's reckoning. It's a reckoning.
Awesome. Like the others weren't reckoning, but okay.
Unlike the others. Yeah.
And I guess the last question would be, what advice would you give to our listeners for, aspiring actors and people in the entertainment business?
I feel like right now is such a beautiful and powerful time to get really specific about your intention. I feel like if there's one thing that I have learned from watching these two powerful women lead us, it's about the power of intention. And so for me, everything's about belief in that intention, commitment to that intention. That really, as nebulous as that can seem, it can make all the difference in the long run.
Sorry, one last question, because you made me think of something. So, the two of you are extremely powerful women in the series. How would you say that reflects yourself as an actress, yourself as a person? What are the correlations? Do you see yourself as this person?
Honestly, playing Charlie has been one of the biggest gifts in my life because I think before then I didn't necessarily think of myself as someone who was commanding or, would take up space in the way that she does. And just inhabiting her has asked me to take up space in my own life differently. It's asked me to step into a different sense of non-apology, a different sense of focus and, my own confidence in my own capability to build whatever I want. It's just been like this education for me, honestly. Yeah. So I feel like I've lent parts of myself to her, absolutely, but she's also taught me a lot, too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It was lovely meeting you. Thank you so much for interviewing with us.
Absolutely.
Hi, I'm Ambre Anderson with The Next Come Up, and we are here with Rutina. Rutina, it's so lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the 4th season.
I know. I was just saying that time goes by so fast. I'm grateful that we're on the fourth season, but it seems like, oh my God, this is the 4th year we've been doing this. And this season especially, I think is pretty explosive. So, we always bring the drama, but I think this will be even more interesting for people to see where we take it.
So how do you think you stay inspired after 3 seasons?
For me, I get my inspiration from other artists. I like to see a lot of theater to be re-inspired because sometimes you need a shift when you're working on a show of doing something else. So I always try to find some other project to work on, or just make sure I go see plays and films to be inspired. But the cast is so great and our crew is so great that I do have fun going to work every day and I do enjoy it, which is good. So I have no complaints, because I know it could be worse. But I've really been lucky with True Blood and now with Queen Sugar to have crew and cast that are just lovely, and they know how to respect the workspace, which is really important.
What can you give us that we can expect from this season?
A lot, Nova writes her memoir, and I think the book becomes sort of like a bomb that goes off for the rest of the family. And what's the interesting part is how people will react to what she's put inside the book. I don't think it's going to be all so good, But I will say that Nova's intentions of why she does what she does is to try to help people. It's just a matter if her family is going to see it that way.
So, as Nola being such a powerful, strong character, how do you see yourself in her?
I see pieces of myself in her, and then pieces of myself that I've always wanted to be by playing her. And so I've learned a lot about myself playing her. She's also made me embrace parts of myself that I hadn't embraced before. But Nova is a woman that, we need. We need more Novas in the world. The coolest thing to me has been to meet fans who are like, I am Nova in real life, and meeting these women who are just excited to finally see a version of themselves on television. That's been really, really cool, And that, women really relate to her sort of modern day woman who's kind of a beautiful mess, like women really get that, And so it's been nice for me to be embraced playing her. Because I always thought that people aren't gonna like that she's kind of messy and all over the place, but people are kind of like, that's life, So it's nice meeting women who are just so in awe and feel the familiarity when they watch us on screen. I think we need more characters like that where we see ourselves reflected back.
Absolutely. So, what advice can you give our listeners who are also aspiring to be where you are?
The biggest advice I got was it's a marathon, not a sprint. That's the biggest advice I got from Courtney B. Vance years ago before I graduated. And it's really been that. It's about longevity in the career and the long haul and how can you sustain a career at whatever level. Because you could be a one-hit wonder, and then that could be it. So you have to always, I think, be constantly looking for the next thing. There's so many stories to tell, and to make sure that you sort of keep telling those stories and not be afraid to tell the stories, because a story that you might not think, people will relate to, you tell it and people actually do, and I'm loving that in the last couple of years, just seeing a lot of stories, especially in the Black community, that are really sort of textural and on deep levels of our history, the things we've been through as a people, and they're telling these stories in a way that people are actually tuning in and listening instead of tuning out. Because sometimes you can tell it in a way and people can't hear it, and I love that about our show. I really feel like we presented the stories in a way where people can hear and not feel overwhelmed with information. You know what I mean?
Well, I just want to say congratulations again. You're beautiful inside and out on the show and in person. And I'm looking forward. We're all looking forward to the next season.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I am Ambre Anderson with thenextcomeup.com. And we are here at the Split Screens Festival for the debut of Season 4 of Queen Sugar. Stay tuned for what's coming up next. And we are here with Kofi. Kofi, how are you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, congratulations on Season 4. How do you feel making it to this?
Man, excited. It's been a journey, and it's still going. It's no time to think. Keep moving. You know what I'm saying? It's been a crazy 4 years. My life has changed, a lot. Ralph Angel is not an easy character to walk away from. So, I'm living it. I'm in it.
That's amazing. So what type of jobs did you have before you got to this come up stage?
So many different types of jobs, man. I worked at a shoe store in Robinson. Yeah, I know all about this 38, you know what I'm saying, 39 shoe size, Charlotte Olympias, you know what I'm saying? I'm just a creative, so it's like, for me, I don't really consider anything a job. I've just always expressed myself through my art, and when I make money with it, that's always a good thing. You feel me? Yeah.
Absolutely. So, what inspires you after 3 seasons of doing this? What keeps it fresh for you?
Yeah.
Even though you're getting writing and feedback, but for yourself, what's your inspiration?
Man, it varies. Every day it changes. But when it comes to the show, I'm just so invested in the audience and invested in the world that we reflect back to ourselves. Being able to see Black people just live in such a simple way in everyday life, but still it be so sophisticated and magnificent and artsy and beautiful. And I mean, I just enjoy being out on that, plantation. We work in Bashery, damn near, yeah. But like, that's where we were. If the heat was bad now, imagine how it was back then, when we didn't have a choice to go home, you know what I'm saying, or get what we needed to do, you know what I'm saying, what we needed. So I think the inspiration comes from just being connected to that part of the show. I think it means a lot to us as a community.
So your character, Ralph Angel, what parts of him do you see in yourself?
All of them. Now it's so hard to differentiate. I mean, he's a young man trying to strive to be his higher self, at the same time navigating his traumas, his past, his history, and trying to create space for his family, and himself, in a world that isn't necessarily for him, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to say that, but at the end of the day, like, Ralph Angel live in America too, you know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
And granted, he's, formerly incarcerated. He's, granted off, so, I don't know what episodes y'all seen, but he's off parole, but there's just so much weight and baggage that he's working through just to get to a place of, space and just liberation, I guess, and same, same.
So how do you feel with working with such powerful women? How does it reflect in your character, or how does it enhance or inhibit your character?
I mean, on a personal level, I just feel like it's such a gift, like, just to see the variety of I guess, emotions and just like the depth of nurturing. Like, it's like I know obviously my mom, I know the women I've been with, but to see just all the colors of women and all the races and shapes and sizes, but we're working so intimately too, so it's like it's a lot of vulnerability, you know what I'm saying? You're really leaving yourself open and, I guess, susceptible to being affected, and sometimes the effects don't show up till later, but, with women, like, they know how to connect to that place, and I think it's just innate, and I'm just like, I receive it. I don't really think there's much more to do than just, like, let it happen.
Yeah. So our last question that we always have is, what advice would you give to listeners who are trying to do what you are doing and trying to get to where you are?
It's a great question. Honestly, I would just say stay inspired, and feed yourself, and feed your passions, feed your vision, because I feel like in the information age, we're being fed so much, we're seeing so much, being told so much, and sometimes it's unconscious. We're just taking it in, and then there's no space for us to do us, you know what I'm saying, to project or reflect what you want, either to see in the world or want to be in the world. So take that time out for yourself to really cultivate and build yourself up and feed your soul, you know what I'm saying, and nurture your spirit, because sometimes we get so caught up in the human, trials and tribulations, and we forget that we're spirit beings, having a human experience. Like, don't, keep the balance there, stay balanced and stay inspired.
So what type of inspiration do you draw from?
Everything, women, trees, colors, babies, my everything, you know what I'm saying? Anything. Right now, you, this entire little press tour, it's all inspiring, honestly.
Well, it was lovely to meet you. Congratulations again.
You as well.
Thank you.
Nice talking to you.
Hi, I'm Amber Anderson with The Next Come Up, and we are here with Anthony Sparks. Hey, Anthony.
Hey, Amber, how you doing?
I'm great, thank you. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You're the new showrunner.
I am. I'm the showrunner, executive producer of Queen Sugar. I work with Ava DuVernay and Oprah Winfrey on this gem, this jewel of a show. I've been blessed to be with the show since the beginning, and was entrusted with the care of the show in moving the show forward this season, and couldn't be happier. It's a real thrill.
So, being the showrunner, how have things changed immensely for you now being on this 4th season?
Less sleep. And that's saying something because I have 3 kids, so I didn't sleep that much anyway.
Right,
but it is labor, but it is a joyous labor. I began this march towards wanting to be a TV writer, producer, showrunner about 20 years ago, very close to where we are actually. I used to live right up the street. And I made that shift in my career goals because I wanted to say something. I wanted to be a part of a process of saying something. So to be on a show, to be the showrunner of a show, Queen Sugar, that is created with such intentionality, that is unapologetic in both being willing to entertain and edify, ask tough questions, say something, tell stories that matter. Unapologetically, I'm in heaven. I'm in heaven. That's what I got into this to do. And not all of television does that. There's a lot of great television out there, but to do that and to do it in Black in particular is like, are you kidding me? I'm in heaven.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So I know they wanted to keep it short.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
my last question would be, where do you get your inspiration for?
A lot of it I dream, I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of, just this morning I was working on the final 2 episodes of the season, and I was thinking about a story issue, and, I woke up with the answer. I think it comes from, I'm from the south side of Chicago by way of Mississippi, where most of my family is from. I honor that. I try to honor that in everything that I do. I'm also a man who believes that creativity is connected to something bigger than us, God, if you will. And I just try to keep working at my craft, number one, but I also I have a very particular point of view on the world that has been developed over years. And in Queen Sugar is a case where my creativity has been able to fuse and serve with Ava's creativity. And, I think you're going to see what the result of that is, in particular in this 4th season, but really throughout the show. But I think you'll see sort of a foot on the gas creative disposition, in particular this 4th season.
Okay, I'm going to squeeze one last question out. What inspiration would you give to our listeners who maybe want to be showrunners one day?
I would say, I am of the opinion, which may not be a popular opinion, that there are a lot of people who say they want to be showrunners and they don't know what that is. I think because showrunner is something that has entered the sort of pop culture lexicon now in the last 20 years, I think people think it's what they see on magazines, that's not what it is. It's work. It is nose to the grindstone. It's having a vision and working arduously to make that come true. So I'm a writer first, who then became a producer and now a showrunner. So for me, it's about the work. It's about getting good at your art, better and better at your art and at your craft. And so I'm much more inspired by people who say they want to be writers than I am by people who say they want to be showrunners. Because I don't think you really know what you're talking about. So if you want to be a writer, and as you grow as a writer and rise up the ranks, or you begin to create, because I also believe in people who are just able to create something and somehow connect and get it out there. But I would say for people who are interested in doing this, be about the work. We have this word called profession, right? What is your profession? Well, part of the word profession is profess. What are you professing? Whatever you profess, that's what you need to be doing. If you're a writer, then you need to be writing, not talking about writing. If you're a director, you need to be figuring out a way to direct and not just talking about directing. Same thing, and so I think in this sort of instant gratification world, there is this idea of just wanting to grasp onto a title and say, this is what I am. And I just think that should you get an opportunity, you should really have done the work to back up what you profess that you are.
Great advice. Well, thank you so much, Anthony. It was lovely meeting with you, and congratulations again.
Thank you very much,
Yes,
Amber. I appreciate
absolutely.
you talking to me.
I'm an American, and my family is an American family. Like all American families, we want the dream. Land, space, love. But we have a secret. Ugliness is also within us. I believe it is our secrets that are killing us.
We're here with Nova Bordelon discussing her new memoir.
Say, I'm trying, Nova, just to understand why you do something like this. You know what I've been through.
Happy families don't sell books.
I don't care about selling books.
But you do care about the truth.
What's black and white on the pages of a book is often very gray in real life.
When an author becomes successful, not everyone can come along for the ride.
They're not everyone, they're my family.
I I ain't your research, Nova. I'm your baby brother.
This is 300 pages of you telling the world how much you hate me, your only sister. This will destroy the life that I have worked so hard to build.
Ambre, what do you know?
All I know for sure, Ernest wouldn't let Nova out of his sight.
I never meant for things to come to this.
Have you lost your mind?